Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Last week we watched The Godfather.
This week we watched The Score.
The connection is that asshole himself, Marlon Brando. Fuck that guy.
Wow, rude, but fair.
And welcome to Oldie but a Goodie. And my name is Sandro. Joining me is Zach, and here's your mission if you choose to accept it. Bum, 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 bum. You gotta go, and you go, you.
What? This is James Bond.
you gotta infiltrate the national building, and you gotta get that thing.
Oh shit, the thing, the MacGuffin.
Yeah, and
you gotta grab that MacGuffin.
Oh, and if you don't get the thing, then here's what's gonna happen, Zach. Here's what's gonna happen. There's no money.
What? No money, but I like money. If I get money, I can pay off all my debts and marry my girl, Sandro.
And that is the mission. This message will explode in 2 seconds. 1, 2, boom.
This is Mission Possible.
Whoa.
Bum, 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 bum.
Hello, it's Oldie but a Goodie. This week, we watch movies vaguely related to the movie we watched last week. Marlon Brando was in The Godfather, and he's also in this movie, so we're reviewing The Score.
Yeah.
Zach is joining me, a famous, massive fan of all heist movies, definitely doesn't think they're all the same.
It's funny you mentioned that, because, Sandro, this one was pretty samey, I think. No. You know what? This one, you know, like your Ocean's 11, right?
Yeah.
Your Ocean's 11, that's like a 3-course meal, you know?
It's got like twists and turns on the genre.
There's twists and turns. It's like you think you're done with the main course, they bring out the second course, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh wait, this isn't just a turkey, it's a turducken, you know? It's like, yeah. You know what this was, Sandro?
What was this one?
This was a bit of Macca's. This was a bit of McDonald's, you know?
I disagree. I feel like this is like a classic, I don't know.
Or maybe like your local Italian restaurant, you know, something like that, you know?
Yeah.
I saying it's Macca's not because it's bad, because it's something I want. And I will occasionally crave, right? I don't want your 11-course meal where the twist is that the twist at the beginning wasn't the twist actually, because they knew the whole time, because actually, haha, we had the whole thing and we were working together. We didn't actually betray each other. We betrayed the rest of everyone because blah, blah, blah. No, I don't want any of that. I just want a fucking little thing that I can... Ooh, that was quite good. Actually, I quite like that.
You just want a movie where they're like, we gotta go and get the thing, and now we're gonna go get the thing. And that's the movie.
Yep. Hey, look. Oh, there's a little complication here. There's a little complication there. We got through the...
Yeah, no big deal.
We figured out something smart. And you know what? We did it.
No big deal. Just chill out, man. I don't know why you're stressed. Just fucking chill out, man. No, there's no stress here.
Yeah, like, why can't we just split the money and then divide it evenly? Why are you stressing, man?
What are you doing? Yeah, no, I agree. This movie is like, it's not like a Mission Impossible where it's like, oh my god, high-tech gadgets and how is Tom Cruise going to kill himself this time? And that, but also it's a heist movie, but also it's not. This movie is like just a pure heist movie. It's very
simple.
Yeah.
It doesn't go crazy pants. It doesn't try and blow your mind particularly. It just like constructs a pretty good movie. It builds it, it shows it. You get to go about your day. Yeah. And that's it.
Wowee.
It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Oh my god, there's your first impressions. How about that? You thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes. I definitely was like, starting to do the Ocean's 11 thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was like, okay, so this is going to happen. This is going to... And, like, none of the bullshit theories I came up with watching this film happened.
Yes.
It was just like... It was a lot simpler. It was just like there was a few complications here and there. And it was good. I enjoyed it. What did you think, Sandra?
Oh, I thought this was good and I enjoyed it as well.
Whoa! This is just a fun bite-sized movie.
Yeah. I love movies like, you know, just like heist movies in general. So I was interested to watch this one, obviously, because I picked it. And, yeah, it's just, it takes the essence of a heist movie and it boils it down to just the basics. And then it does that. And I was like, this is cool. It's not fancy or anything. It doesn't try and be anything else. It's just a heist movie. Maybe it is too long, and maybe if you're not into heist movies, this will be boring. But I really enjoyed this. I thought this was good.
Yeah, I think if you didn't like heist movies, this one could be a little rough. But like, if you're a fan of the genre, it's just a good movie.
Yeah, it's just good. You got some good.
And you know me. I famously hate heists, and I think they're all samey and terrible.
That's true.
But this one I enjoyed.
Wow. No, wait. No. You think all spy movies are samey and normal,
Yeah,
which of course
I
heist movies
hate.
ties into that. But yeah.
They're all the same to me. I can't tell the difference between spies and thieves. All the same, really. They all do sneaky stuff.
But yeah, it's interesting because this is directed by Frank Oz, and I was expecting it to be a little bit more comedic, I guess, because it's directed by Frank Oz. And then it never was. It was just a heist movie. And I was like, oh, he just wanted to make a heist movie. Okay.
Well, I would say it does have comedic moments.
Oh, yeah, there are, like, funny moments, but it's not like, you know, the Little Shop of Horrors.
I liked the hacker, I should say.
The hacker. Oh, he was funny. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was your classics 2000s era hacker.
Yeah.
Like, I popped off when we heard the hacker noise, which is just generic computer noises. I was like, yeah. Let's go.
That was good. I liked as well, there's one thing in here that might be meant to be a joke, but it's a little bit ableist. You know, like, no spoilers.
No, I don't think this is a joke. I think this is very ableist.
It's incredibly ableist.
But it's also done better than I've seen it. Like, later on, because it is quite important, at least, for the plot-wise.
Yeah.
And it's like, poor Danny, man. Like, whew. Sucks to be him.
Yeah. But no, I really did enjoy a lot of this. It's always good to have Robert De Niro as the main character as well, because it's kind of, I don't know, he's just really good in stuff. I like to watch him in things, and he was good in this. It wasn't, there were a lot of like moments where he was doing heist stuff where it was obvious that it was a body double. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah.
But aside from that, I didn't really mind.
There was a few, I think, I watched this with a friend, and so we had a few moments where we called the shots. And after that, we just started wildly theorizing throughout the film.
Yeah.
And none of those wild theories came to pass, but we did call a few things, like the ending. Like, we called the ending as soon as it happened.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And we just kept going, is this the time where it's revealed? Is this the time where it's revealed? And then it happened, and it's like, oh, yeah. But I was also expecting a much more, like, terrible ending. You know, tragic. Your Game of Thrones, like, everything just kind of sucks sort of ending.
Yeah.
But no, it just had a gentle little ending. It was good.
Yeah, this movie, like, again, it's not trying to be anything fancy. It's just like, there we go. It's like, what you think will probably be the ending is what ends up being the ending. Kinda, I guess. I don't know. No spoilers. Who knows what people think, honestly.
So true. Well, I was expecting the Ocean's 11 sort of ending. We were theorizing. I was expecting, like, everyone to be dead. Like, it just the most awful thing. No, the ending's quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
Not bad.
There's only really one thing that happens, but I don't want to spoil it, obviously, because, you know, we're not in the spoiler section yet, but Jesus Christ, Nandra, you want to sneeze
so
more on the
much.
podcast?
What the hell's going on
Fucking
here?
Christ. The mic turns on and Sandra turns into sneezing McSneezington over here.
Just keep sneezing, Mr. McSneezing Town over here. I was in a shop yesterday and I was sneezing and I was like, what's this? What's going on here? I hate people who sneeze in public. What am I doing?
You hate people that sneeze in public.
I'm like,
fuck your allergies.
I'm like, fucking wear a mask or something. What are you doing?
Do you have allergies?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on right now. Yeah. Who knows?
You might need to go see an allergen. People who look at allergies.
All right, that was a big loud one, so that hopefully got everything out of the system. You can leave all this in if you want, Starkey. But one of the most, I guess, reasons why people remember... I've got to sneeze again.
It's happening. No, you've called it now. It's not going to happen when you call it. Do you have a tissue? Grab a tissue. Blow your nose, you fucking bonobo.
Nah. But one of the reasons I think people remember this, though, is because it is not only Robert De Niro is the main character, but it's also Marlon Brando as the guy who gives them the heist. And they both were the same character on The Godfather, Part 1 and Part 2, respectively. Because we see all the flashbacks with De Niro. We haven't watched that movie yet. Who knows if we ever will. I'm gonna do everything I can to stop it. It's not true. But yeah, Marlon Brando is in this, and I thought he was awful. What did you think, Zach?
I thought Marlon Brando was fine. It was funny because when we were trying to set up the film, the audio wasn't really good. So for the first 10 minutes of the film, I didn't know what anyone was saying very much. It was very hard to hear. And his character was definitely the hardest to hear.
It was
yeah, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, I thought he was fine. He wasn't terribly important to the plot,
No, not
I guess.
at all.
Yeah, right? So it didn't really matter to me. But it was interesting because I thought he was going to be a more important character. Because it's Marlon Brando, but he was just kind of in the film.
Yeah.
Again, I know you're a huge Marlon Brando hater.
It's true.
You just hate that man.
It's true. He's an awful person.
And you hate The Godfather and everybody who's involved. But I thought he was fine.
I thought he was... it was interesting because it's I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it, but he looked and sounded like Trump in this. Just the way he was talking, and his makeup was awful.
That's funny. That's very funny. You're kind of true. Kind of true, though, actually. If I had thought of that watching the film, I probably wouldn't have liked him either.
Yeah. And also, I was on a Letterboxd, and friend of the show, Han, for some reason, had watched this at some point, and was like, why does Marlon Brando look like Mr. Crisotto from Monty Python? It was the... Monty Python's meaning of life explodes.
Yeah. It's quite funny.
Which is very true. But yeah, it's interesting because he obviously, to be in this movie, he had to be on set. I don't know if you know about that, Zach. He had to be on set.
That's unusual for actors?
Yeah, I know, right? Definitely in our modern age. Am I right?
Oh, true, though.
No, here's what happened with him on set. Frank Oz hated him, and he hated Frank Oz. He didn't respect... So, he seemed to be like, you, Mr. Frank Oz, are Miss Piggy, and therefore you are not allowed to direct me. Robert De Niro will direct me instead. So he just refused to take any direction from the director of the movie.
Wow. Wow, that is a dick move. Wow.
Yeah. And he was not wearing, he would just show up to set in his underwear. And
oh, really?
He'd just be really I don't know, mean, I guess, to everyone.
He put a bit of a fucking Joker. He's mailing rats to his co-workers. Is that what you're saying? He's just kind of a bit of a pain in the ass to work with?
No, definitely. But, I mean, he was barely on screen for this, so...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He wasn't actually very important for the plot, other than being I made a deal with the devil. I'm fucked up. You gotta help me, please.
Yeah. Wah. What else is there to say here that's not spoilers? I liked all the acting. I mean, obviously. I think the cinematography is really good as well. We get a lot of, long shots where we see two things happening on different sides of the screen. All the heist stuff was really cool, fun, tense, good stuff all around.
I think the action was like perfectly like nail biting, you know.
Yeah.
It was just tense enough, you know. Especially the I think it took a while to get to the heist. There was definitely a few complaints on Rotten Tomatoes about that, but
yeah.
But I quite enjoyed the setup and the payoff and the characters and other things. I liked the action. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
The heist itself was quite good. I liked that. It was just complicated enough, but it wasn't. It didn't make it too complicated that it became unrealistic.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was just realistic enough. The only thing we criticized was the tiny camera for his little stethoscope thing.
Oh, yes.
I feel like this isn't really a spoiler. Was very high definition.
Yes, it was incredibly high definition.
It's not unrealistic that they would have a camera like that, because doctors used those back in the days for like stethoscopes and other things for the thing.
Yeah.
But it was very high definition, and we were like, yes, enhance.
It was a little bit like that, actually. Yeah, I didn't even think about that really until now, but no, you're right.
That was once my friend pointed it out, I was like, that's funny.
I think that's a pretty fair point.
But it's a bit of fun. That's the 2000s, you know?
Yeah. And, like, there is a lot of, like, planning and stuff as well. Like, there's, 20-minute long sequences where you're just walking around tunnels trying to find the best location for stuff to happen, which could be boring, maybe. I liked it, though.
I think that... Yeah, I liked that bit as well. But I think, that's definitely where, like, some of the audience is like, can we get to the action, please?
Yeah.
I'm back on TikTok watching Subway Surfers while this is happening. Come on, hurry up, chop chop.
But yeah, if you're more of a fan of like Oceans or Mission Impossible or whatever, this might not be exactly for you. If that's like the main sort of heist stuff that you like, but if you like heists from like the 60s or I'm trying to think of, there was a heist movie that Adam Driver was in recently. That was really good.
Oh yeah.
If you like that sort of stuff, yeah, watch this one. This is a good one. Go check this out.
There you go. This one's definitely more bite-sized. This isn't crazy complicated. You don't have like a fucking board of newspapers with strings attached to them and other things. You don't need to do any of that. You can just watch it and enjoy it and know that like there's like one or two things that you could figure out, but other than that, you're all good.
That's right. And that's why I'm going to give this a goodie. How about you?
I'm also going to give this a goodie, no matter how ableist it might get.
Oh, yeah, that whole thing. That's a bit of a slight tarnish on the overall movie.
Yeah, it's a slight tarnish. I think it's done better in this movie because it has a point to it.
Yes.
Not at the start of the film, which is very funny that they start off with the only time it's really doesn't have a point. And
yes.
It starts off worse, and I feel like it gets better because it has a point to it. But, like, if it didn't have a point, it would be very ableist, right?
And also the whole thing with that is, like, I feel like the fact that the person who decides to do that may not have the best intentions, it kind of adds to the fact that this person might not be that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a good point. Bad person.
Like, that was my thing as soon as that character was, like, explaining the ableist stuff. I was like, I don't like you, actually.
Are you saying they are maybe bad?
Maybe. I don't know.
A bad guy who does bad stuff?
We'll have to talk about it in the spoilers section.
Yes.
Which we'll
Very
get
good.
to.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that. I like that.
And we'll get to spoilers after we do taglines. And by taglines, I mean tagline.
Ooh, okay. Go to.
There are no partners in crime.
This one's tricky. Is this a spoiler? Is it spoiling the movie? It's not really.
I mean,
it's
who knows what the trailers were like?
They're like fighting it first. I'll give this a thumbs up, ish, with an asterisk.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And surprisingly enough, this movie cost $68 million, so close.
Ooh, close.
This movie almost, like, it made like 13 million. Like, this movie was a was a success.
Yeah, nice.
I'm surprised by that.
Well, you're surprised?
Yeah.
You rated it a goodie, though.
Yeah, but no one's gonna like this.
Yeah. It's just a good movie. It's just like good movie. It's definitely a movie for people who are a fan of heists but don't want to watch anything too crazy. It's like it's got this little niche in its corner, and if you don't like that style of stuff, you're probably not going to like it. But it's good.
It's a little bit like Panic Room, but also not at all like Panic Room.
That's a great description, Sandro.
Thank you. Well, shove adamantium into my bones and call me Weapon X, listener, because this is another ad with me, Sally McSeller. And I'm very excited because this month over on patreon.com/oldie-but-a-goodie-pod, Sandro and Zach have teamed up to start a brand new series reviewing every single X-Men movie that ever existed. That's why I did the Weapon X intro. Here's a clip from the first episode.
Sandro, who's your favorite mutant? What's your favorite mutant out there? What's one of your favorite mutants?
I mean, technically, Spider-Man did audition for the X-Men at one point. There was a comic book series when he joined the X-Men for a couple missions. He was also a member of the Fantastic Four for some reason. That happened in the 60s. But him being an X-Men doesn't really make sense. He was kicked out at some point, I'm pretty sure. He was there for a little bit.
Because they were like, wait a minute, you just got bitten by a spider. Get the fuck.
He's not a mutant. But, by de facto, yeah, he is my favorite mutant, for sure. Yeah,
Spider-Man?
Definitely
is your
Spider-Man.
favorite mutant?
Well, that sure sounds like a lot of fun, traveling back to 2000 for a very different time of superhero movies over at patreon.com/oldie-but-a-goodie-pod, where you can get the bonus episode of X-Men right now, as well as a bunch of other bonus episodes and a bunch of ad-free content as well. Also, early, too. You get main episodes early without ads, and you get bonus content like that episode right there, the X-Men one. You got a bunch of other series you can check out, or just keep following the boys as they review every single X-Men movie. I'm sure all of them are going to be great. I'm sure there's not going to be a bad one amongst them. No siree. Yeehaw! Alright, spoiler alert, we're getting into spoilers. Zach, let me tell you what, this movie is the top listed on the IMDb category of movies about faking an intellectual disability. It's the top one. This is the top one.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is... Wait, high praise? I think... Wait, okay.
I don't know. It's the best out of the other three that are on the list.
Oh, okay. Like, highly rated as a movie?
Yeah, I think so. I think it just goes off the score.
Okay, yeah. What was the other two movies?
The other ones are some Emma Watson movie called Colonial. I have no idea what that's about. And then a movie from the 60s called The Headmistress. A man pretends to be an imbecile so that he may work at an all-girls school. Oh,
wow. That sounds bad.
And then some incel film from 2009 called The Truth About Average Guys.
Oof.
So... this is the best out of those, apparently.
Yeah. Once you put it next to those ones, it doesn't look so good.
No, it's
true. And it's definitely the bit that hasn't aged the best of the whole film. It's like, especially the introduction. The introduction felt not very good for that.
I think it's because I knew that he was in this. I knew that Edward Norton was in this, and so
as soon as he was on screen, I'm like, oh, hey, that guy is famous, so I know he's going to be relevant, which is very funny for that specific introduction that they do. I think the introduction is just bad, but but the point is that it's bad?
Maybe.
Like, that's, like, the whole point is that really pisses off De Niro, right?
Yes.
Like, but it's also stupid.
Yeah.
And the idea behind it is not good. But also, as you pointed out, we're in spoilers now, he's not exactly a good guy. In fact, he's quite a bad guy in the end, right?
Yeah, that was my whole thing throughout the movie, was as soon as he started doing that, I was like, surely he's not a good... Surely. If that's his... if that's his go-to to get in at this place, to, like, work there, is by pretending to have this mental disability, surely he's not a good guy. Surely.
Yeah, it turns out he wasn't.
It turns out that actually played quite well.
he kind of gets his comeuppance at the end for his crimes.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I think the movies are positive. But yeah, it is a bit ableist, and it felt really bad at first. But I feel like it gets... Because he's using the disability to convince the museum people that he becomes essentially invisible.
Yes.
Because people just see him as, oh, he's that guy, right? You know?
Yeah.
And that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's a harsh reality out there that people like him would be ignored or dismissed or other things by other people.
Yes.
And that makes sense to me, and I feel like, oh, that's almost a commentary in that aspect. And then in another aspect, he's kind of just abusing the fact that people do that.
Yes.
And that makes sense for a character that turns out to be a bad guy, right? Like,
that's true.
So in that aspect, I thought it was more tasteful than I've seen before, you know?
Sure.
It still didn't feel right, but, you know, once it was there, like, I got used to it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. After, like, a little bit, I was like, okay, fine. This is just part of the movie, and it's just going to keep happening. But, yeah, look, it's probably a slight damper on the overall movie, but,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say on that, really. We've talked about it. Marlon Brando, also was a slight damper on the movie, I think, as well. So I definitely like, for me, a couple things that I'm like, I don't know about that. But, no, like, overall, it's pretty good. We won't go through...
I need to update myself on the Marlon Brando lore, because I clearly...
he's just an asshole, that's all.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense, because he was the top Hollywood actor or whatever for a while, back in, like, the most sleaziest days of Hollywood, where the upper echelon was, like, some of the worst Hollywood's had.
Yeah.
Still pretty bad, but, like, it was real bad back then. And if he's top dog back then, he's probably just a sleazy asshole, you know?
He was also, I'm fairly certain he was also, very anti-Semitic, just in general. He was just very...
Yeah, we're having a bit of a Morbius over here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But also, he was also quite... He was also quite, not, progressive in other ways as well. So, but he also just kind of sucked as well, in general. But... Yeah, no.
Sounds like you're just a Marlon Brando hater, Sandro.
Maybe. Look, he's a man of many layers. Many layers.
Most of the layers suck.
So yeah. Anyway, he's in the movie and he's like Robert De Niro, and Robert De Niro is like, I'm do heists, I'm retiring though, and then Marlon Brando's like, but one last one, you get a lot of money, and he's like, god damn it, I will. And then he's got to team up with Edward Norton. They got to go steal the French scepter from the customs house.
Yeah, but the way Edward Norton introduces his character is by doing the whole disabled act.
Yes.
And then be like, hey, Nick, thanks for your help. But he's like, what did you say? And he's like, Nick, hey, I'm your contact. And he's like, what the fuck? Why is this jackass trying to contact me? And so he gets his, like, muscles. Bert, I think he is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He gets his muscle to come in and try and rough him up a bit, you know?
Yeah.
And then Edward roughs him up a bit, and they all have a bit of a conflict, because he's like, hey, Max, what the fuck is this jackass trying to do? And the other guy's like, come on, man, just work with me on this one job. It's easy, quick money, you know?
Yeah.
And eventually Robert De Niro agrees.
Yeah.
And then they go to heist the place, and then the complication starts.
That's right.
They start scouting out the place. They try and do the sewers, you know, line up the sewers. And, there's a wall here, and he can't go that way. There's some tunnel workers, you know, that have just started to work, and so he's got to get out of there before he's found, you know. The complications start happening, and boom, the next day, you know, they're in, and it's like, they're beefing up the security.
Yeah.
They're getting more cameras in, and it's like, as time goes on, the thing that Nick, Robert De Niro, has agreed to because it's such an easy heist, it gets more complicated and more complicated. Meanwhile, he's trying to court his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's like, hey, you wanna go steady? That's cool. We can do that as long as you give up all these heists. And he's like, well, just one more heist. Just one more heist. And she's like, for fuck's sake, you say that all the time. What the fuck? But he's like, no, for real this time.
Yeah. For real this time. But there's one more heist. It turns out to be more than he planned. And yeah.
Yep. And then Max turns out to be a big piece of shit because he did a deal with some gangster guy that we never see.
Yeah.
And he's like, please, Nicky boy, please, Nick, please, I need the money so I don't get fucked up.
You gotta do the job or else I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die if you don't do the job. I'm gonna die. And he's like, fine.
Knowing the background for Marlon Brando in these scenes, I wonder how much of it was like the pool scene where he's just downing a bottle of wine, right? Like
that's what's my thoughts in that scene as well.
Like, I didn't know that at the time. I wasn't thinking it at the time, but now looking back on it, was he just like pounding a bottle of wine for the movie, like because he wanted to, and they had to incorporate that into the movie?
Probably. He was just like wearing bathers or like some like
yeah.
No, for sure.
I mean, it works for the scene.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, it's funny.
He would have been a good Baron Harkonnen if they had made.
Ooh,
if they'd made it one of those.
I actually thought of that as well during the sort of scenes. He did have a bit of a Baron Harkonnen sort of vibe.
Actually, maybe he was meant to play. I know they were making a Dune movie in the 70s. Maybe he was meant to be in that. I don't know. But yeah, who knows?
Probably. Because he's just super famous. He was probably going to be the main character, you know?
Paul?
Yeah, he was probably going to be Paul or something.
Maybe. I can see it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Like, I can see it because I can get past the whole, the actor's too old sort of thing. But that's what they would have done, right? They would have just got the most famous actor to play it, no matter how old they were, right?
It would have been Elvis, for sure.
And then Sandra would have complained about
That's
it
true,
on the podcast.
I would have complained, yeah. No, exactly. But yeah, so they do the heist, and I don't know, Edward Norton, he's sus the whole time. It's like, why is he waiting so long to give De Niro the go-ahead? What's going on here? Turns out he's going to betray him.
Don't forget the planning beforehand. I like the planning beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
With the safe, you know, they have the, like, safe door, and it's like, this new safe that they've got has these, like, glass panels and stuff, and you try drilling into it, locks in. That's it. Can't get in. How are we going to get around that? Well, I have a plan. Proceeds to not show the audience the plan.
Classic.
Yeah. And so you're wondering the whole time what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I like the breaking in scene, how tense it is with
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was like that perfect level of tense where you're seeing the janitor. He's like, let's skip lunch today and just finish the whole job. And the other guy's like, nah, shit, I need to get down there now, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then he like has to like run off, and so the janitor's like, where's this guy who's meant to be helping me? And then like that's like a loose end that then has to be like tied up as he's like, you know, he finds Edward Norton, and that's a whole mess. And yeah, there's just like a lot of like small things that are like, you know, if it was Robert De Niro doing this by himself, not by himself, but with someone who, you know, stayed in his lane, I guess, because there's lines all throughout this movie where De Niro is like, you need to stop taking risks. If you keep taking risks, yeah, you're not gonna last. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Edward Norton kept taking risks. Kept taking those risks the whole movie.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? It sounds like you're trying to betray me. You're trying to give me a lower cut. I see what you're doing. Because, yeah, we see partway through the heist, Edward Norton, he, like, purposely waits.
Yeah, that was such a fucking good scene.
Yeah, it's very tense. I like the whole Robert De Niro's perspective because we see him like welding, like cutting a piece of metal.
Yeah,
and the shot that they do is from like way below, and you just see the sparks flying down. I thought that was a really good shot.
That was good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think this movie's really well shot in general.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I do like Edward Norton. Oh, that one scene where he's with a cop and he has to like improvise on the fly. He like starts speaking French to this cop to be like, "Hey, where are the directions? Can you direct me, sir?" You know, but he's speaking French, that sort of thing.
That was good.
Like they're smart on the fly. Anyway, back to the heist. We see Robert De Niro like on the ceiling, like trying to crawl above the camera, and he like is putting his legs just around the camera.
Just around the camera. That was great.
And it's so close. Yeah. It was very tense, the whole, like, when it cuts back to the security cameras, you're like, oh, are they going to see? Are they going to see?
Yeah. I liked all of the stuff as well, where it's like, how is he going to get into the safe as well? And then there's that one scene where he sees, like, a keg break off, and he, like, is like, ooh. But that never, like, he never explains what's going on, but if you were paying attention earlier, you know, you'd be like, he might be using something to do with pressure, and then, yeah, he uses, like, water and stuff.
Yeah, no, I didn't make that connection, actually, till you mentioned it now. I'm like, oh, I see.
I think it was, like, a 3-second scene.
No, I very distinctly remember the scene, because the movie put a bit of emphasis on it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I guess he's like, shit, my beer, I'm getting poor. I thought it was like he's getting poorer.
Oh, yeah, because it was for his jazz club. That's right.
Yeah, for his jazz club, so he's more desperate for the money.
Yeah.
I thought that was the point, but it actually makes more sense. He's like, water pressure. Very clever, you know? No,
Those are my
there
thoughts.
you go.
Those are my thoughts.
That's smart.
We haven't even mentioned that he owns a jazz club called New York City in Montreal, Canada, which is very funny.
Yes.
And yeah, he just wants to go straight. He wants to go straight.
We haven't even mentioned the hacker scene yet.
Oh, the hacker scene.
Because he has to call up his guy, you know, the tech guy.
Yeah.
And he's like very stereotypical, like 2000s hacker man. He's in his basement. He's got loads of computer screens. He's playing Doom, which is very funny.
That was very funny, yeah.
And he's like constantly crying about his mom. He's like, my mom's such a bitch. She's such a bitch.
I just want to play games.
I'm talking with a friend, Mom. It was very funny to me how just like plain and generic he was. Like he just hit all the stereotypes.
He did, and not in like a annoying way. I was like, I'm fine with this. This is funny.
Yeah. He was just like very stereotypical, which was very funny to me.
Yeah.
But they have to get these like numbers for the passcodes for turning off the cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a bit of tech mumbo jumbo where they're like, oh yeah, I hacked into the system, but I met another hacker on the other end, some low-level tech guy, probably, you know, working for the security company.
They don't go too in-depth about it so that it doesn't work realistically, but it is also, I know a little bit about computers, and there was like some small parts of me where I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. It was definitely
Yeah.
But it's funny because, yeah, they have this whole scene where they meet up with this tech guy. And, like, they give him, like, 50,000, I think it was.
I think it was something like that, yeah.
For the codes. Yeah. Which pushes De Niro into doing the heist. Because De Niro's already negative 50,000 on this heist already. So he has to go through with it.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a funny scene in the park. I like the park scene because it's like...
I love the park scene.
Yeah, it's like Edward Norton's like, why the fuck are we meeting up at a park? These fucking amateurs and, you know, this sort of thing. And then they're having their conversation and one pulls out a gun and he's like, dude, there's kids around.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, right? You're a fucking idiot. Oh, and Edward pulls out his own gun.
Yeah.
And then, like, Nick is... Robert De Niro is like... What are you doing? Don't bring a gun.
What are you doing with a gun?
Foreshadowing. Don't bring a gun.
Yeah, that scene actually tipped my partner off to the fact that he might be more sus as well, because they were like, well, if he has a gun and it's in Canada, is he a cop? It's very hard to get guns in Canada. And I was like, you know what? That's a fair point. Turns out, no, he just had a gun, but...
Yeah.
Definitely something.
No, I didn't think that was the point. I think it was more he's just a bit of a wild card, a bit sus.
For sure.
A bit of a sussy barker, you could say.
It's interesting as well because the guy who plays the other hacker, Mr. Saperstein, who gets the money in the park, he is the voice actor for Wesker in some Resident Evil games. And I was like, ha ha ha, how funny is that? It's Mr. Wesker over there.
That's a good fun fact.
Little fun fact for you, yeah. But no, that scene was great. I liked how his cousin was there as well.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, he's a cousin, you know? And then Edward Norton's like, see that big guy over there? He's my cousin. Yeah. So we're all family here. We're all having fun. You know, he tries to de-escalate. Yeah. It's good fun.
But yeah, back to the heist. He takes the scepter out of the case, out of the safe, I mean.
Yeah. They use... They drill into the top of the safe.
Yeah.
And then fill it up with water so he can explode it. He puts... dynamite in it to explode it, but because there's water, it's not going to damage everything. It's just going to blow the door off the hinges, which I think is pretty smart.
Very smart indeed. I love the flashback as well with the scepter where Edward Norton's like, I knew that it was in the leg of a piano, but the piano was infested by like termites or whatever, so they had to
impound it.
Yeah, they impounded it, and then they were burning the scepter. And he was like, I didn't want the scepter to melt, obviously, but I also didn't want them to know it was there. But I had to let them know it was there, or else it would be burnt in the furnace. That's great. It's a great scene.
Yeah. The like split-second decision. Yeah. It's good. He's like, oh, there's, I see something, you know, like, yeah.
That was really good. I enjoyed that as well. But anyway, he's got the scepter, and then, oh my god, Edward Norton's like, give me the scepter, I've got a gun, I'm gonna kill ya.
Yeah, so the betrayal happens. We see earlier, Edward Norton, he like waits.
Yeah.
Before helping De Niro, it's like very specifically, and it's like, oh, that scene was super sus, right?
Yeah, that's the moment where you'll immediately like, okay.
Immediately the alarm bells start ringing for you because you're like, he's just waiting.
Yeah.
Why is he waiting?
What's he doing?
And he like times it, and we see him leave his computer and like put a 5-minute timer on it. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that's where we see the janitor like bumps into Edward, and he has to be like put in a cupboard because Edward's like, sorry, Danny, you have to be in the closet now.
Yeah,
because you discovered me. Sorry, it had to be you. You know, you're a good guy, Danny. And then he runs down to betray Robert De Niro by pointing a gun at him, and Robert De Niro's like, come on, man, we were all gonna get out of here positive. Why the fuck you doing this, you dumb kid?
Yeah, what are you doing? And he's like, I wanted to take the credit or something.
He's like, oh no, you were trying to lower my cut by telling me not to take risks and all of that. You were trying to betray me. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a fool. You should have trusted me from the beginning. We should have been partners, but you didn't wanna, and so I'm betraying you now.
Oh my gosh.
And it's good because he's like, all right, you pass me the scepter and take off your mask. Throw your mask over there. All right, you want to follow me? You're going to have to smile for the camera. See you later, bitch. And then he runs off.
Yeah.
And by this point, like, if you've watched a heist film before, you know what happened in this scene, right? You know he tossed him a bag, right?
Yeah, he swapped him. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and then we have a great, like, chase scene because we see Edward Norton like dressing back up as the janitor and like escaping using the fact that no one like sees him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we also see Robert De Niro having to like run through the sewers and escape everything, get to his escape car and get out of there. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought that was great. And yeah, then we see Edward Norton, he goes to like a bus stop and he calls up Robert De Niro so they could have a chat, and he's like, hey, no hard feelings, haha, sorry that I had to betray you. And Robert De Niro's like, hey, fuck you, dumb kid. Hey, guess what? Check your bags, idiot. And he checks the bag, and oh, it's a piano leg.
Oh my gosh, the piano leg.
It's not the scepter.
And also, he just wasn't careful, because now everyone's looking for him, because the boss guy can identify him. Like, now Edward Norton can never do this again. Oh well.
Yeah. So Edward Norton's So the ending of the film is Edward Norton betrays them.
Yeah.
And his comeuppance is that he's like the only guy that's on a manhunt. And Robert De Niro gets away scot-free, and he doesn't share the money with Edward because Edward betrayed them. So Edward doesn't get any money out of it, and he's super wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
So he should have listened. He should have taken less risks.
And then he retires. That was his last job, his final job.
Yeah, and then we see Robert De Niro. And I was expecting, of course, Robert De Niro to get like betrayed, or like he gets caught by the cops or something. You know, like a more tragic ending, or like comeuppance or something. But no, he walks off into the sunset with his girl.
That's right.
And then they live happily ever after. Presumably Max also lives happily ever after, which is probably one of the worst outcomes ever. But, you know, like...
We don't really see him at the end. We see him watching the news on TV, and then he smiles, and that's it.
Yeah, because on the TV it's like, Edward Norton is the most wanted man.
Yeah.
But there was another culprit, and we have no evidence on him. And he's like, yeah,
that's right.
Nice.
Yeah. So, no. Yeah, I really liked, just everything about it was really fun. It was good. It was very, procedural's maybe the wrong word, but, you know, the procedure of a heist, all of the planning, and then the heist, and it was all there, and I was like, this is good. Also, that main theme that plays as well was really cool as well. I don't really remember how it sounds, but I remember whenever this one song plays, I was like, hell yeah, this is good. This is a good piece of music.
Yeah, it had pretty good music. Yeah.
So, no, good stuff all around. I don't think there's much else to say here, really.
I think we've gone over everything.
Yeah, all the cinematography was good. It was really tense at the end. It was fun.
Oh, I like Angela Bassett.
Oh, yeah, Angela Bassett is the...
Yeah, she doesn't have much time in the film. She's just, like, the love interest, you know? Could have had a bit more screen time, but she's there.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, sure, I'll hook up with you. If you abandon your fucking robbing ways. And he's like, one last job. And she's like, for fuck's sake, I'm fucking out of here, you know?
Yeah, no.
So she doesn't get much screen time, but I thought she did a good job.
I agree. But yeah, I don't think there's much else to say here. I do have one negative point, though. One negative. Which is, where was the Muppets? Where were the freaking... Even just a Little Shop of Horrors or something popping up. I'll take anything from Frank Oz, but no, nothing here.
I think it would have been funny if, like, on one of the televisions in the background, you could have had the Muppets playing or something. That would have been funny.
That would have been good. No, I guess he was trying to make, like, a serious movie with this one, so he didn't want any of that in there, which is completely fair enough, but...
Yeah, but, like... For example, the hacker guy being like, Mom, you suck, shut up, I'm on the phone with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, that was more of the comedy sort of aspect to it.
Yeah, that's true.
And the whole scene where they go to Robert De Niro's hideout, and Robert De Niro goes into a bathroom, and you can see the toilet, and then, like, Edward Norton's like, huh? We're going into a toilet? Like... He doesn't say that out loud, but you just see the visual because the camera angle's really, really good. It was shot really well in that aspect. But it's like, there's a bit of like visual comedy there that's like subtle.
There was a little bit.
So there is a bit of humor, but it's very subtle because he's trying to make a serious film, as you said.
No, exactly.
And I thought that was pretty well done.
All I wanted was just one Yoda flip. Just give me one.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Brought to you by Hoolarious. Stand-up comedy now on Hulu. Hey everybody, Hulu has a bunch of new stand-up specials that aren't just funny, they're Hoolarious. Very funny, Hulu. Anyway, they're launching new exclusive stand-up specials from awesome comedians like Jim Gaffigan, Ilana Glazer, Roy Wood Jr., Bill Burr, and tons more. A new special drops every month, and they've got a huge library of stand-up specials to check out. Go to Hulu and get your stand-up fix now.
All right, Sandro, it's time for raving reviews. But you're in charge.
Oh.
But plot twist.
Oh.
I'm in charge, actually.
Oh my gosh.
I've heisted the reviews from you, and now I'm in charge. This is the part of the show where I go on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
I grab some reviews.
Ooh.
And you have to heist the score.
Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah, you've got to guess what they rated it. Yeah.
I've got to be like, Get the review. I don't know.
So I'll tell you the review. You have to guess the score. Scores go from 0.5, 5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Most people didn't have a name for this one, but I like the reviews, so I was like, screw it.
What's it got? 74% from the critics, 67. Okay. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, like 70%. It makes sense. It's like, if you liked a heist film, it was pretty good. If you didn't, then probably not,
Yeah.
There's some good actors. It did pretty well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Pongo says it well. He says, the normal, quotation marks, setup. Nothing too surprising. Some not too realistic events. Enjoy it.
But if it was realistic, then it would be boring. Because nothing...
Correct.
It would have been... they probably would have gotten away with it, to be honest. Those guards were not particularly interested in stopping anything happening. 3.5.
It is 3.5.
Ooh, nice.
Nice. You heisted that one well.
All right.
You were dodging the lasers. Oh, speaking of lasers, I liked how you couldn't see the lasers visually. He had to pull out the infrared to see it.
That was good.
I appreciated that. I was like, thank God, someone who understands how lasers work.
Exactly.
None of the other reviews have names, but the next review is, I wish Danny got the scepter. Sad face.
Danny. Yes.
The janitor. I think the old
janitor
guy.
character.
Yeah.
I wish he did as well. I liked the Mario-looking Stanley cameo over here.
Yeah. You know what? My friend made the same joke at the start of the film when he was introduced. I was like, there's your Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah,
that was
he is.
very funny.
I don't know. That's probably I'm gonna go for a 4 out of 5.
It's 4 out of 5.
Oh, I'm just in tune with this one. How about that?
God damn, you're doing well. Well, maybe you might get the next one wrong. It says, great performance by 3 legendary actors. But man, this was a snoozer up until the last 30 minutes. Not rewatchable.
Oh, wow. This was a snoozer. Oh, that's surely going to be a 2 out of 5 if it's a snoozer.
It's a 2 out of 5!
What the heck is going on?
Oh my God, he's got 3 in a row. That's got to be a record.
This is a record,
crazy.
surely. What the
Town.
heck? What the heck?
All right, maybe you might not get the next one, though. It's a pretty hard one. Next one, it says, sorry, the ending pissed me off.
Oh, it pissed this person off.
Yeah.
Well, that one's hard. I don't know where to go with that one.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Sorry, the ending pissed me off. But what did you think about the rest of the movie? I don't know.
They don't know. You don't know.
If you're so caught up in the ending, you might not think it's I'm going to go 2 again.
It's 2 again! I can't believe it! I wasn't expecting you to do 2 again as well! That's crazy!
What the hell's going on? This is very funny.
For the clean sweep, Sandro. For the clean sweep!
Unprecedented.
Oh my God, and this is probably the easiest one as well. For the clean sweep, they say, in bold,
Okay.
classy, exciting,
Okay.
high-tech,
Ooh.
ingenious,
Ooh.
sophisticated. 88 out of 100.
Oh, no, that is the easy.
Can you clean sweep the Sandro?
It's 4.5 then, right? Because it would be closer to... It would be 90 if it was 4.5. But if you round up, it would be 4.5. But it's probably 4...
What do you think it is, Sandro?
You've got to round up. It's got to be 4.5, surely.
You've got a 50-50. Are you locking it in?
I'm going to go 4.5. I'm going to round up.
It's 4 out of 5. Oh, he was so close to the Queen Sleep. He got destroyed by the math at the end. The math did not check out.
You've got to round up at the end. What are you doing, no-name person? But here's the thing. I'm going to get...
That's true.
Another... that's the only one that I'm going to get wrong, because I'm going to guess your review was the Danny review.
It was, because I was
go.
a huge fan of Danny, of course.
We love Danny, the janitor man.
That was pretty clean, Sandro. Except for the bad math at the end. And you were really close as well.
Yeah, that was good. That was unprecedented. Nothing... That was crazy.
I think there was a little There was a little twist at the end, but otherwise the heist was pretty clean, Sandro.
I got away.
Yeah, you got away with it.
Yeah.
Wow, that was impressive, Sandro. That's crazy that you got nearly all of them
That's
right.
actually crazy.
That's crazy.
On this episode of all episodes. So
Yeah.
That's wild.
We're recording quite early in the morning, so
That's true.
Yeah, that was impressive. Maybe like early morning, Sandro. That's where you're at your sharpest.
I disagree strongly.
Or maybe it's because it's your early morning, Sandro. You're more in tune with the Rotten Tomato reviews rather than the Letterboxd reviews. You know what I'm saying?
It might be that. But anyway, that's the whole episode. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast once again for another bloody episode. We'll be back next week with whatever Zach's chosen. We'll do that very shortly. But until then, make sure you check us out on the Spotify and the iTunes and drop us reviews and you drop comments on YouTube if you want. People are cool over there. We love our YouTube audience. You're all cool.
Yeah. Especially that guy that's like, this wasn't the movie. I hate you guys. You suck.
I haven't gotten one of those in ages, actually, which is wild.
Yeah. Have you posted the Godfather review yet?
Yes, it's out, but we're recording it on the day it went out, so...
Oh, okay. So we
Nothing
haven't got the reviews yet that are like, God, Sandro, you didn't like The Godfather, but it's the greatest movie of all time. How dare you?
I think I've already gotten one message from someone saying, how dare you? But that's just from my personal...
Never mind. That's very funny.
Very excited for that one. I'm excited for people to see my 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd and be like, what the heck is this?
Ooh, scathing.
I'd be like, it's still positive. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, that's on there. Speaking of movies that are positive on Letterboxd and in our real life as well, maybe out this week, depending on if we can find a time, one of the evenings this week to record it. This is X-Men 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty busy time at the moment for the both of us, but if we can squeeze it out, X-Men 2. Spoiler, it's a banger.
Yeah, it's the best one, maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe.
That's a hot take, seeing as we haven't watched it yet.
That's true. I've watched it a lot, though. But
yeah, no, I may or may not have watched it like last year before we did this because we talked about doing this and I just wanted to watch them.
Wanted to watch it.
Thanks, Deadpool Wolverine, for making me want to watch all the X-Men series.
But yeah, we'll be reviewing that either this week or next week. We'll see what happens with the schedules. But that'll be up there, patreon.com/OldieBuddyGoodie. You can go get the first X-Men episode now if you want. That's a banger. We do banger episodes.
Oh yeah, the first episode was all fun.
Yeah, but Zach, now it's time the movie picking. We can go do that.
It's time for the movie picking. This is the part of the show where I've picked some movies and you've got to ask me some questions. Did you like how I did the rotten reviews bit?
You did do that. That was very confusing. Really threw me off then for a second.
Yeah, so I picked a couple of movies. You've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
I'll give you some basic ones.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll give you the year.
Oh.
So 1982 for the first one.
1982, okay.
1996.
1996, okay.
And 1974 for the third one.
1974 for the third one. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, cool.
Sandro's laughing because he knows what that movie is, and it's only because he's such a little nerd, a little stupid little nerd that he knows what that one is, and he's a hater, and he sucks, and I hate him.
I'm not picking Godfather Part 2, Zach.
Shut up! You don't know what it is. It could be any movie from 1974. Anyway, the first one is fantasy.
Oh.
The second one is... I disagree with Google. I'm going to say adventure.
Okay, yep.
The last one's crime.
I wonder what it is.
Yeah, it could be anything from 1974, Sandro. You don't know. Is there any other ones we do?
You can give me actors if you want. I don't know.
Actors? No, I'm not going to give you actors, especially not for the last one. Shut up.
All right. Okay. My first question is, what's the length of these movies?
What's the length of these movies?
How long are they? Yeah.
I hate you. So the first one is an hour and a half.
Yep.
Second one's an hour and 40.
Okay.
It's like an hour and a half, really, again.
Yeah.
And the third one's 3 hours. 3 hours, 20 minutes or some
Oh
bullshit.
my god, even longer than 3 hours.
It's 3 hours, 10 minutes. I don't know how long the credits are.
Oh, I really don't know what that
Shut
one
up.
is.
All right, it's The Godfather Part 2, all right? I know you don't want to watch it yet. I know you don't want to go through 3-hour movies, but I want to watch The Godfather Part 2, Sandro.
We could watch it later.
You suck. I hate you.
After next week's episode, we're going on another bit of a break as well, just because that was the scheduled break, and the break for Godfather was not scheduled. So we can do more Godfather after the break, Zach. After the break,
All right.
I'm cutting it. I'm cutting that option.
No, The Godfather Part 2. No. I really want to watch it.
Another random movie in there if you want.
Can everybody in the comments just say Sandra's a hater of The Godfather?
I'm a hater.
He's just a big, stupid hater.
That's
has
true.
A bad opinion.
This is correct.
All right, bye-bye Godfather Part 2. I'm getting rid of it. All right. So you're left with the other two.
Okay. Do I want a fantasy or an adventure? What do I... Okay, here's my question. Let's say that these movies are a famous national treasure.
Ooh.
What sort of national treasure would they be? Would they be a scepter or...
I know exactly what this is. So the first one's like a big diamond. Like a big, you know, that like one of those giant diamonds that's worth like $50 bajillion that in the heist movie, they're like, it was discovered in Peru in an ancient thing, and a young miner found it, and now it's like, it's one of the most things, and we're gonna have to heist it before the bad guy heists it because he's gonna use it for his laser weapon. You know, like
yeah.
It's just a giant diamond. Whereas the second one is like it's like a pile of gold and jewels.
Ooh.
discovered in like a sea wreck. You know,
Okay,
that's displayed in a museum. You know, like it's a pile of jewels and gems and other things, you know?
Yeah.
Different gold pieces.
Okay. Ooh, all right. This is a hard one then. I like both of these a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So, pile of gold or a big diamond. Oh, this is hard. I don't know what other questions to ask though. I'm going to say, if these movies were another movie, what would that movie be?
Ooh,
that's probably a good question.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. The first one, if this was another movie, I would say Labyrinth.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I don't know.
I love Labyrinth.
It applies particularly because I haven't seen it.
Oh,
but,
okay.
You know, it's got that vibe. I haven't seen either of these movies, you know, but like it's got the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I just got that on the brain. Because I was thinking of putting Labyrinth as an option.
How would you have gotten to... I think Frank Oz is in Labyrinth. I don't know who he plays, but I think he's in it.
Yeah. It wasn't a strong enough connection for me, so I didn't put it in. But I was thinking, because I would like to do Labyrinth at some point. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
And the second one is the Treasure Island movie that we did.
Which one?
The one we watched, whatever that one was.
The Treasure Planet or the actual Treasure Island one, though?
The Treasure Island one.
Oh, yeah. Ah, okay. So Labyrinth or Treasure Island?
Yes.
Okay, I do love Labyrinth. Ooh. I do love Labyrinth, and I do also really like Treasure Island. Okay, I don't know what other questions to ask. I'll go with the painting question. How about that one?
Ooh, the painting. Yeah. I think the first one is like a bit of a Van Gogh, sort of like a bit more vague, a bit more splotchy, but it's got this like dark colors.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a Van Gogh, but it's like dark and kind of spooky. The second one is more like a finger painting.
Okay.
A finger painting of like
finger painting
of a nice, like it's got an ocean. I'll say a finger painting of an ocean.
Yeah. Okay.
If that gives you an idea, you know, Treasure Island, ocean sort of thing. You can see the sort of theme there, I think.
And I love movies about men on the sea, and that was really giving me Men on the Sea vibes.
You do like your seamen.
But it's very true. But also I feel like, you know, you said Van Gogh. Oh, you said Van Gogh, and that is, you know, I am partial to a Van Gogh. My Kindle background is not my background. The case is a Van Gogh case.
These are some tricky choices. They're both pretty good.
Oh, I actually don't know which one I want to go for.
Yeah. Both of these are pretty good, and I'd be happy with either choice. I can let you know, both of these have the same connection.
Oh, the same connection.
Yeah. Both of these have the same connection. They are also connected in a way.
And they are both also connected in a way.
They could use the same connection for each other, right? You know, because they both use the same connection.
I could do a little bit of a bonus battle. No. Look, I love Men on a Ship. I do love Men on a Ship, but I'm okay. Is the fantasy one, is it like dark fantasy or is it like light fantasy? If you were to describe the fantasy, what sort of fantasy would you say it is?
I could give you the second genre.
Yeah, sure.
Because that one's fantasy adventure. Whereas the second one's adventure musical.
What? Ooh, now that makes it harder. No, I don't know why I'm still leaning more towards the fantasy one, just because I think like the vibes are good. The finger painting,
they're both good
aspects. Oh, they do both sound very good. I'm gonna go.
They're both good.
I'm gonna go fantasy. Option 1, lock it in. Because I feel like more like fantasy right now than I do Men on a Ship.
That's fair. Yeah. No, I'm very happy with that one. I'm very happy because I've always wanted to watch this film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is one that I haven't watched that I've always wanted to because everyone else has. Apparently, it's good. So the second option, the one you didn't pick, was the Muppets Treasure Island.
Wait, so it was actually just Treasure Island.
It was just Treasure Island, yeah.
That's very funny.
So when you said connected to a movie, I'm like, oh, I know what I need to do for that one. That's very funny.
That one's fun. I don't mind that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one, and that one's great because that one has Tim Curry, which is one of my favorite actors of all time. He's really good. So I've always wanted to watch that one.
Yeah.
Plus Treasure Island.
Yeah.
That one would have been funny if you picked it.
And the connection would have been, I think, was Frank Oz still Miss Piggy in that one? Yeah, he was.
No. The connection I've made for both of these films was puppeteering.
Okay.
Because Frank Oz is doing puppeteering.
But
he's a puppeteerist.
But how he puppeteer in the score?
Frank Oz is in that one. Anyway, the first one...
Yes.
Is Dark Crystal.
Ooh!
Yeah, Dark Crystal, which has always been compared to Labyrinth, you know?
100% it has been, yes.
Yeah. But I didn't want to make that too clear. I needed to be a bit more vague about it. And Frank Oz is also in that one. So you could say the connection is Frank Oz.
Well, actually, he directed that one as well, so...
Yeah.
The connection... is almost more direct, actually.
Yeah. Like, well, he's in both of them. But I wanted to do a more vague. I didn't want to cancel out the Frank Oz connection, but it really is just a Frank Oz connection.
Yeah. Just a big old Frank Oz connection. I haven't seen Dark Crystal in years.
And Robert De Niro was the connection to The Godfather Part 2.
I'm not picking... Oh, all right. Next week, The Dark Crystal. That's fun. That's a fun movie. Okay.
Yeah. It's one of those movies that I've always wanted to see, and I was like, ooh, I can actually connect this one pretty easily to this. So.
No, you really could very easily connect that for sure.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a twist. It's a bit of a change from the direction our movies have been going in, but I'm very happy. Also, it put the Muppets Treasure Island as family musical, and I didn't want to give you the genre family at first because I felt like that would have steered you away, so I said adventure instead.
Adventure, yeah, no.
Yeah, because it's Treasure Island, it's an adventure.
You saying Treasure Island really threw me off what that movie was.
Yeah. It's very funny because it is just Treasure Island, but there's so many other Treasure Island movies that I could just name another one, and you would be like, ooh, what's that one?
All right, Dark Crystal, that's a fun one next week. And then my choice will be the entire Netflix prequel TV show.
Yeah!
All 10 hours.
Hell yeah.
No, but awesome. All right, I'm looking forward to that next week, The Dark Crystal. Until then, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go do a heist.
Oh, nice. But you see, Sandro, you're not doing a heist today, chick.
Oh.
Because I'm going to steal the heist from you.
Oh, no, you're taking the heist.
I'm the one who's going to do the heist because I brought a gun for no reason.
Here, have this bag.
All right, excellent. I've got the bag full of heist equipment. I'm going to go do the heist now. Let me open up this bag. Hey, I'm on the phone with you, Sandro.
I'm on the phone too.
I'm gonna have fun doing this heist without you, Sandro.
Yes.
You idiot, you fool. You should have brought a gun because I'm young and hip and thought a gun was a good idea. Oh my god, this bag isn't full of heist equipment at all!
I heisted you! While you were walking away with the heist equipment, I did a mini heist and I took the heist equipment back.
Oh my god,
That's
what
right.
a twist. This bag is full of dark crystals.
And by dark crystals, I mean poo.
Meth.
Oh.
Meth.
Meth and shit. That's what it's filled with.
Delicious?
I guess.